In my last video that I had, that I uploaded, I talked about the generational curse of how in the black community, the head of the household is usually a black woman, particularly those that receive government aid, government benefits, how they educate and mold their children, particularly the young daughters, to engage in government dependency. This is why you see in many instances in our community that if teenage pregnancy is evident in one generation, it's evident in the next generation and the next generation. There's a lot of variables that contribute to that. And part of that is that if a parent perceives sex and men in a specific manner, one for exploitative means, one for hypersexuality, another because they're going to choose not to practice proper reproductive rights or reproductive as far as preventive measures of getting pregnant, one could only conclude that in raising their children, they raise them with the same value system, directly and indirectly. And when I say directly, I mean that a single mother of multiple children is probably more likely to allow her daughter to date freely. And what I mean by dating freely is that they're more likely to leave their daughters and children unsupervised to go on dates at home because they're probably working while they're getting benefits. They're more likely to allow their daughter to have male friends come over, and so on, as opposed to two-parent households in which they may provide more supervision. Even though they may allow them to date, there may be more supervision in that. But we have to understand that if you were a person who was pregnant at 14, 15, 16 years old, most may not necessarily be more hyper vigilant, even though that happens at times, be more hyper vigilant in disallowing their children to repeat the same mistakes. However, what I will say is that we also have to look at, in a person making that decision, we have to look at how they view education, how they view religion, black female worth, and the value of black men and how that's being vetted. And so in many cases, many teenage mothers in previous generations orientated their children that once they get pregnant, these are the benefits that you can receive. You can get food stamps, you can get some housing, you can get funding to go to school. They'll allow you to go to school and different things like that. You can get different grants. That certain organizations have things, services, healthcare services, Medicaid for you, child Medicaid services for your daughter or your sons that you're going to have. And so, if you do get pregnant, look at the great safety net that you have for yourself. And one thing that is not talked about is that you working collectively and building a proper family with a black man is an option. Let me repeat that. In that orientation to adulthood that this single mother is teaching her daughter, one of the things that is not reinforced is that you should want to get married or be in a long-term relationship working collectively to produce a traditional family with a black man. And so we wonder why our marital rates are so low, and our divorce rates are so high. We wonder why you see a situation in which there may be three generations of pre-adult pregnancy, teen pregnancy. You're going to see the baby boomer grandmother, the millennial or the Gen X or Gen X or Gen Y grandmother, and then you're going to see the millennial or or so on, this younger generation with a daughter also. All created the same mistake. All were basically unsupervised and had lax rules as regards to dating and interacting with males, and all had the same outcome. These are facts. These are things that go on. Also, in turn, the same thing occurs to the black son that they allow to go out and pump and dump, and not teaching them that it's not okay for you to go throwing around your penis to different girls irresponsibly, unprotected. In many cases, there is no repercussion for them doing this, no chastisement, no sex education coming particularly from a male, or putting someone in there to teach this young man how to operate and be responsible with his penis. These are facts. That's why in many cases you wonder why when you see a teenage pregnancy, you're probably going to see a mother who's probably had the child as a teenager. And in many cases, the grandmother probably was a teenager too. See, it goes one step to another because the culture in which they grew up in, the environment, the social values, pretty much are not reversal of the previous generation that made that mistake. It's actually congruent that they all followed the same mindset towards their body, towards getting an education, towards bettering themselves. They pretty much succumb to being a statistic and thinking that the way of black life for a female is that you're going to have poor prospects of other economic opportunities, and that it is inevitable that you're going to need the government in order to survive. These are facts. This is something that is prevalent in our communities and continue to basically spill over into all types of black life at a high rate. Many of the families that I treat within therapy in the communities that have all types of issues, there is some aspect of this level of pathology, because it also relates to other different stressors, mentally, psychologically, socially, behavioral wise. Because when you look at the diagnoses of a lot of kids who have ADHD and ADD and other behavioral disorders, most of those people come from families that lack a father in the home. They're probably low income, and they have the presence of what I've just described. So please leave comments in the comment section. Please tell me what you think. Please subscribe. Please share. I like you to definitely continue to engage. Give me topics about that you'd like me to talk about. I'm talking about things not only from a information standpoint, statistical standpoint, but also I'm touching upon issues that I see every day in the realm of my counseling agency, in the realm of my practice, as far as psychosocial issues that contribute to black failure. Have a great day.